So as you know, the job market is so messed up that people are starting to get really, really desperate and can't get jobs. And it is not just low-level people, it is across the board. And one thing I'm starting to notice is a really, really bad trend. So me and Ali help job seekers land jobs. And so we're getting a lot more messages on LinkedIn, just like this one. So let's get over it, and then we're going to talk about two scenarios from the person that's applying and from my perspective as the business owners and some of these commonalities. And the first one is, let's go over what is going wrong. So this is somebody that's came to us and said, I need help. So, hi, my name is, I'm looking for work for almost 16 months. My unemployment ended back in March and I've been doing some freelance, but it's not enough to survive on. I'm living off credit cards and will not have a place to live if I can't find a full-time role soon. I've networked, been referred to, applied to hundreds of positions and not have gotten any closer to securing a job. So this is where we then say, hey, join our platform, join the community we have on school, where we give you the resources in the classroom section. And we say, hey, this is a $99 a month service where we actually help you, give you the resources. We have guest speakers, and we really, really provide a lot of value for the $99. And so what is going on with these job seekers is that these people come, they're so desperate. They're saying, I haven't gotten a job for 16 months. And then they're expecting for us to solve their 16-month problem in 7 days, because we offer 7-day free trial. So what they're saying is, in 7 days, we need to help them for the 16-month problem. I say, hey, we can't deliver a service that takes you months to build up, to do your resume, get a project portfolio, start networking, start seeing where the kinks are. How are you during interviews, and start doing that. That's a process. I cannot fix that overnight. And so these people come to us and say, help me. I say, okay, great. So one problem, the first problem that I noticed from the business standpoint, this perspective is that these people do not follow instructions. So one of the huge things I've noticed with people that can't stick around and can't stay around till the 7-day free trial ends is that they do not have the simplest reading capabilities and actually follow instructions. So if you join the program and it says, hey, book an onboarding call in the first 7 days, because all the modules are locked. So you can't just come in, suck out all the resources, and then be gone, because it would overwhelm you. So what do we do against that? Hey, you joined. Now let's see where you're struggling, because everybody's journey is different. Some people struggle with interviews. Some people struggle with networking. Some people just struggle with persuading their value. Some people struggle with their resume. So everybody has a little bit of a different problem, and we need that first call to kind of figure out what you need. It's almost like a doctor, right? When you come to the doctor's office, you're not just going to sit there and say, I'm sick, you go find it. No, you have a conversation with him, right? So this is a common problem that we see. And then after that, like, you can't help us. It's like, no, you can't follow instructions. And a lot of these people can't follow instructions. And then we see that, hey, if you can't follow these simple instructions that we have for you, you probably can't follow these instructions while you're applying for a job. So 16 months of not finding a job, yeah, I know why, because you can't follow instructions. So if they say, hey, if they say after the interview, please write Bob an email, and you write Jimmy the email and you don't message Bob, of course they're not going to move you on, because you can't follow instructions. So this is the number one thing that I'm seeing with job seekers, that they just can't follow basic instructions. And so from the business perspective is like, okay, if I have these people join, right, and this isn't from the job seeker's perspective, because they come to us and they need help, right? From the business standpoint perspective, I'm looking at it like, hey, if you want to fix a 16-month problem that's been going on, and you want to fix it in 14 days, that is a $20,000, $30,000 ticket item. Because if I can fix your problem in 14 days that you've been struggling for 16 months, let's look at it. You would have probably made $70,000 a year. You've been searching for 18 months, so $100,000, and you want to spend $99 trying to fix your over $100,000 problem that you've lost out on all that money, right? So you want to spend 0.1% of what you've lost out on in those 18, 16 months, whatever it's been going on now, almost 2 years, and you're trying to then say, hey, let me throw $100 at it and see where this is going to go. This is not a $100 problem. This is a $5, $6, $7, $8,000 problem, because you need to go in and see where is the issue. Because you can't, from a business owner's perspective, or even in the medical practice thing, right? So let's say you got something like a tumor growing or something, you got a wart on your body, and this happens all the time, and you're like, hey, if you go see it early on, then you can prescribe a cream, some other medication, or you can take something for your body to fight that, right? And that is a relatively cheap and easy fix, but you've detected it early on, right? But if you're gonna wait 18, 19, 20, you wait a few years, it grows, right? It grows bigger and bigger and bigger. And then all of a sudden, you're like, hey, I need to go see a doctor. And all of a sudden, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't eat or something. Now it's an emergency. And when you know anything about medical services, an emergency surgery is really, really expensive, and it costs you a shit ton of money. So in the job search field, if you have an emergency and you are looking for something like that, and you've been doing it for 16, 17, 18 months, it should cost you a lot of money, because you're going to use up a lot of resources and a lot of time from other people that know what they're doing. So for me, it's like, yeah, we cannot provide you enough service in 2 weeks to provide you for $99 to provide you that service to get you a job, and throw you all the resources. My whole team just drops everything to just go out and help you find a job. That just doesn't work like that. If you want that, we offer that, but it's going to be in the thousands rather than in just a few $100s. And most people I know are struggling with getting a job, getting it like, hey, I need this. And I've had people that job search for a few months, and then they find a job, and then they come to us with a specific problem, right? They're like, hey, I can't negotiate, or what do you think? So then all of a sudden you're like, hey, I got it, this is good. But if you're just gonna say, hey, I need a job in 2 weeks, I'm like, yeah, that's not a $99 ticket price. And for all these people that are like looking right now, because I have a lot of people that are looking for jobs, you should hire somebody that can teach you how to do it. It doesn't need to be me. I'm not saying that it should be me, but you need to find an expert that you can say, hey, this is what I have going on, and kind of figure it out. Because if you've been unemployed for a long, long time, it's most likely not your resume. It's most likely how you do the process. It's how you do things. It is, hey, I'm not following directions. I'm not being cordial enough. People don't want to work with me, or I'm just not good enough for the roles I apply to. And so that is why you need honest feedback. And the problem with honest feedback is that in your circle of friends, when you go and have a beer and you talk to them and they say, yeah, you should get a job, nobody's going to be honest and say, you're an asshole, I wouldn't hire you either, because you don't want to get into it with your friends. So what you do, you just laugh it off and say, you'll get it at one point, and then be like, yeah, I wouldn't hire him. I don't want to work with somebody like that. And so then they come to people like me, where it's like, hey, let's have some hard conversations, because you need to come over humble. You need to come over as a team player. If you're not a team player, you're most likely not going to succeed. Because if you're not going to be a team player, why would somebody hire you, right? So why would somebody go out there and say, hey, yeah, this guy is a real lone wolf, and we love that in our company. No, you need to collaborate with others. To provide value to your team and do all that. And if you can't showcase that, you're not going to do it. And so with this one person so they joined, right? And then they said in 7 days after the free trial, oh, I can't do it. You can't help me. Seems that you have too much other stuff going on. And then she wrote everybody in my team a huge email saying that we didn't help her enough and all this other stuff. And she wanted one-on-one time with Ali. And I said to her, like, hey, if you want one-on-one coaching from Allison, it's going to be about $1,000 an hour. Then they said, oh, why would it be so expensive? It's like, because her time's so valuable. I have other people knocking on the door that say, hey, can you give this talk? Hey, can you help her do this other thing? I have colleges talking to her saying, hey, can you come and speak? I have colleges that say, hey, can you host workshops? Can you do all these other things? And so these are then prioritization lists. And this isn't about me just like bragging about it. This is just me trying to educate you. If you have somebody in your field that can say, hey, listen, this is what's going on. It's tough. You need to put on the big boy's pants or woman pants and then say, this is what we got to do. And you got to be eager. You got to be wanting. You got to open up your mindset. You can't be like, this is how I've done it for years and I'm going to stick to it. Well, 16 months passed and now you're still here, right? You're still at the same spot as you were for 16 months. So for all these people that are like, I can't find a job, it's the establishment out to get me. I always say, you and I, with my little following, I have like 5,000 people, and I appreciate everybody watching, so please like and subscribe. But for all these people that follow me, that watch my stuff, yeah, I'm for the little guy. But I cannot have enough persuading the market to change anything. I cannot go out and make new rules and say, we're seeing new trends. No, big companies make new trends, and then I just follow their trends and say, this is what we're seeing. This is what we're seeing at Tesla. This is what we're seeing at Amazon. This is what we're seeing at these fan companies, these trendsetters. This is what we're seeing at all these other companies that they like to see. And then we adopt it and we tweak it, and so we can then use it. Because it's easier to say, hey, let's not fight the establishment. Let's just go with it till we have a job, and then we can say, this sucks. Yeah, it does, but we're not big enough to have a big move in it. That's why all these unions, sometimes the unions negotiations fail and people still get laid off, right? So it's just not how it should be going, but it's just the name of the game. So back to the conversation about this person that I'm seeing a lot more of. It is 5 before midnight, before they become homeless, before they have other stuff. They've leached off of their parents, their friends, everything else. And rather than looking in the mirror and saying, maybe it's me, maybe it's my attitude, maybe it's how I do things, then they're like, hey, I hired career coaches and it didn't work out. You didn't even stick around long enough to actually get any value. Because if you join a free program, if you join my coaching, where we do it's 7 days, but all the modules slowly get slowly released. Once you're in it, we have meetings with you. My team has meetings with you and say, hey, how is this? Oh, have you done this? Good. We release another module, and then you can use the networking templates, all these kind of things that we give you. And so you gotta follow instructions and you gotta be humble. Job searching is a humbling experience, because if you're in it and you're like, hey, I have all these things, you can't come in it and be like, this is my demands and this is what I want. Because your name isn't that recognizable. I'm sorry to say it, but you're no celebrity. If you're a celebrity in your industry and you're like one of these heavy hitters that everybody knows in your industry, when you walk into the office, people say, oh, this is the head of AI at Google. And when you walk into a coffee shop, they're like, this is the AI guy at Google. And when you walk into a conference, people just want to shake your hand and chat with you. If you're not that person in this job market, you cannot make demands. You're just not in a position to do it. And this is somewhat sad, because it's all of these Americans and all of my friends are struggling to get jobs. But it's just not possible to get to where you're on a trajectory where you're gonna get where you want to go without being humble, gracious team player and say, hey, that's all right, let me get started and let me tell you what my values are and let me see if I align with the team. But people come in nowadays, and I've seen it in interviews. I've seen these interviews where we have mock interviews and we've seen these people, why should we hire you? Oh, because I'm the best. I was like, okay, in what? Well, I know this, this, and this. And it's like, do you really know that, or are you just saying that? And then they're like, oh, this sure seems cocky. And then what is most important to you? That I leave at exactly 5. I was like, okay, what if we got to do a little bit longer? Well, I don't give a shit, I leave. And if you use verbiage like that, and it's like, you know that this is a mock interview, right? And I said, yeah, but I really don't give a shit. I value my freedom. And if you say that in an interview, you don't want to say stuff. Even if it's true, you just want to be, hey, yeah, if it goes over a little bit, maybe I'll take a little time off or come in the next morning a little late, because it is tough. It's not 2020 where you can just have your resume chewed up by your dog and then submit it and then they're like, yeah, we'll hire you just because there's such a demand for it now. No, we have hundreds of thousands of people applying to 30 jobs. So who do you think they'll get? Now you need to have some of the, now you need to have some common sense and say, hey, if I already made it to this round of interview, they probably got another 5 people that are just like me, if not better, also at that. So what do? When they ask a question, yeah, I'd stick around and then I would, take one, when it's a little bit less time, I would probably take that time and leave a little early or kind of, come in late. So whatever kind of fits. And this is the answers that people want to hear, because people want to hear you be a team player. It's not like you're in a meeting and you're going to present to the staff and then, you present to the board or whatever. And it's like, it's 5 o'clock, I'm out. And you just fold your laptop and you're done, because there's other people that are going to wait for that, and it's just going to cost the corporation money. And we're not in times like that. Do I want it to be like that? No, but it's the time we're in. We're just a little small wheel in this whole big conglomerate thing, right? And so don't fight it. Just do what you got to do to feed your family. But if you're job searching for 16 months, you got to change the attitude. You got to humble yourself. But people always make excuses. They are so good at it. And I'm probably one of them too, but they're always so good at it. They say stuff like, I couldn't do it because of this, and they didn't hire me because I was a woman. They didn't hire me because I was black. They didn't hire me because of this, or they didn't hire me because of this. No, most likely it's your attitude. Most likely people don't go into interviews and say, I don't want to work with a black guy. I don't want to work with a woman. People just don't have these perceptions. If you're a team player, you're coming over nice, you know your stuff, people want to work with you. There's probably 1% of people that would say, hey, I don't want to work with you because of this or that. But most people just like, hey, if you're a team player, I love working with you. And a diverse team is great if you have the knowledge, the skills. But if you're starting to be entitled and you're starting to be like, I need to get this because of blah, 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 then all of a sudden, it's not going to end well. And people are going to notice. And then it's like, you just didn't make it. And then they're coming to me. And then they're going to come to me after 16 months, 2 weeks before they're homeless, and saying, I need a solution. And I say, well, your solution's going to be way more than you can afford right now, because you've also posted stuff like, you said, I can't feed my family. I have all this stuff. And I'm asking you, why would people shoot me messages like this where they say, I have no money and I can't buy groceries? Why would they tell me that? Is that for, and I haven't figured it out. I haven't figured out why people tell me that they can't afford groceries, because I'm not going to decrease my price because you can't afford groceries. I just can't do it, because my prices have been calculated specifically to deliver that service. And if you're going to say, I want to pay $20 a month or something like that, there's just nothing out there. Even $99 a month for our services is really, really cheap. When you look at other career coaches, they charge you $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, right? And so when I'm looking at it, like $99 is what is the minimum to deliver a good service for you, so you can get a job in 60, 90 days if you follow the directions and you're humble. Because we have people that actually did it, that found jobs in that time period, but then you got to dedicate to it. And we also had people that have been in the program for like 8-9 months that travel all over. They say, I get to it when I get to it. And then they say, hey, I send about 2 resumes every week, and that's as much as I want to do. And then I travel, I don't really need it, and that's fine too. But don't come to me like 4 minutes before midnight saying, I need an Uber ride home at exactly 12 to make it. You can't do that. You gotta be in a position where you have enough runway. And people always wait to the last minute, always before the clock strikes midnight. Then they're like, now I need it. And then they're like, you need to deliver the service faster and you need to perform faster on your end. No. You got to do it, not me. Because $99, to be honest, isn't going to change my life. But $99 might change your life, right? Because with all the resources, with everything else, we had a lot of stories that said $99 did change their lives. But it is crucial that you follow directions. It doesn't matter who you are or how you got to your spot. You gotta follow directions. There's a reason why we do things, and it's been tested out over years. So there's a reason. And yeah, this has been crazy time. Thank you so much for becoming a member, a channel member. I really, really appreciate that. I know we're gonna do some cool stuff as soon as I make some more money with YouTube and have my new free community launched. I'll see how much money's left over so I can buy the software. I really, really want to show you guys, because if you're a subscriber and you have people in your field that want jobs, shoot me an email then, and I will then make a video for the community section on how we can really, really cheat the system and get these people jobs. And yeah, but it's not going to go without you, because it is an expensive software. It's like $12,000. Or if LinkedIn sees this, why don't you just sponsor me and I can get it so I can show the amazing tools that you guys have. So let me know, and I will talk to you guys later. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you in the next one.